The plane was ready for takeoff, the cabin buzzing with the usual pre-flight chaos. Passengers shuffled to their seats, overhead bins snapped shut, and flight attendants moved with practiced efficiency. But then, something unexpected happened. A sharp voice cut through the hum. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the aircraft." All eyes turned to the elderly man in seat 14B, his face a mix of confusion and embarrassment. The flight attendant stood firm, her tone unyielding. As the man slowly gathered his belongings and stepped off the plane, murmurs of disbelief rippled through the cabin. Little did anyone know, this moment would set off a chain of events that would change the airline industry forever. If you've ever wondered how a single moment can alter the course of history, you're in the right place. Stick around, because this story will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about air travel. And hey, if you're enjoying this journey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join us for more incredible stories like this one. The elderly man, Harold Jenkins, was a retired engineer with a passion for aviation. He had spent decades designing safety systems for aircraft, but his quiet demeanor and unassuming appearance often led people to underestimate him. That day, he was flying to visit his granddaughter when the confrontation occurred. The flight attendant, Claire, had mistaken his insistence on keeping a small, odd-looking device in his lap as a sign of non-compliance. Despite his calm explanations, she deemed it a safety risk and asked him to deplane. As Harold stepped onto the jet bridge, he paused and handed Claire a small notebook. "You might want to give this to your supervisor," he said softly before walking away. Claire, annoyed but curious, flipped through the pages. What she saw made her blood run cold. Detailed sketches, calculations, and notes filled the notebook, all pointing to a critical flaw in the airline's newest aircraft model. A flaw that, if left unaddressed, could lead to catastrophic engine failure. Claire rushed to the cockpit, her hands trembling as she handed the notebook to the captain. The pilot, a seasoned veteran with over 20 years of experience, immediately recognized the gravity of the situation. He radioed ground control, delaying the flight while they contacted the airline's engineering team. Within hours, the airline's top experts were poring over Harold's notes, confirming his findings. The device he had been holding? A prototype sensor designed to detect the very flaw he had identified. The airline acted swiftly, grounding all affected aircraft and issuing a public statement thanking Harold for his invaluable contribution. News outlets picked up the story, and Harold became an overnight hero. But for Harold, the real victory was knowing he had potentially saved countless lives. As for Claire, the experience humbled her. She reached out to Harold personally, apologizing for her actions and thanking him for his patience. The two formed an unlikely friendship, and Claire became an advocate for better training and communication within the airline industry. This story reminds us that appearances can be deceiving, and that every person we encounter has a story worth listening to. Harold's quiet brilliance and Claire's willingness to learn from her mistakes show us the power of humility, curiosity, and the courage to do what's right. In a world that often rushes to judgment, perhaps we should all take a moment to pause, listen, and consider the hidden depths of those around us. If this story made you rethink the way you see the world, don't keep it to yourself, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Hit that like button if you were inspired by Harold's story, and let us know in the comments, have you ever had a moment where a small action led to a big change? And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel for more stories that challenge, inspire, and entertain. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Harold Jenkins wasn't just any retired engineer, he was a pioneer in aviation safety. Decades ago, he had worked on groundbreaking projects that revolutionized how aircraft were designed and maintained. However, his contributions often went unnoticed because he preferred to work behind the scenes, letting others take the credit. After retiring, Harold continued to tinker with ideas, driven by a deep sense of responsibility to make air travel safer. The device he had brought on the plane that day was the culmination of years of research, a compact sensor capable of detecting microfractures in engine components long before they became visible to the naked eye. When Claire handed the notebook to her supervisor, it didn't take long for the airline's executives to realize the magnitude of what Harold had discovered. The flaw he identified wasn't just a minor issue, it was a design oversight that could have led to engine failure at high altitudes, putting hundreds of lives at risk. The airline's engineers were stunned by the precision of Harold's calculations and the simplicity of his solution. Within days, they implemented changes to their aircraft, incorporating Harold's sensor technology into their safety protocols. Other airlines took notice, and soon, Harold's invention became an industry standard, saving countless lives and billions of dollars in potential damages. Harold's actions sparked a broader conversation about how airlines treat their passengers and employees. Claire, inspired by the experience, became a vocal advocate for improving communication and training within the industry. She pushed for policies that encouraged flight attendants to listen more and assume less, creating a more compassionate and understanding environment for everyone on board. Her efforts led to a company-wide initiative that transformed the airline's culture, making it a leader in customer service and safety. Harold, meanwhile, found himself thrust into the spotlight, a place he had always avoided. He was invited to speak at conferences, awarded numerous accolades, and even consulted by government agencies on aviation safety. Yet, through it all, he remained humble, always emphasizing the importance of collaboration and continuous improvement. His story became a symbol of how one person's dedication and ingenuity can have a ripple effect, changing an entire industry for the better. This tale is a powerful reminder that greatness often comes from the most unexpected places. Harold Jenkins wasn't a flashy CEO or a charismatic leader, he was a quiet, unassuming man with a passion for solving problems. His story challenges us to look beyond appearances and recognize the potential in everyone we meet. It also highlights the importance of humility and openness, as demonstrated by Claire's transformation. Together, they show us that even in moments of conflict, there's an opportunity for growth and positive change. So, the next time you're on a plane, take a moment to think about the countless people who work tirelessly to ensure your safety. From the engineers who design the aircraft to the flight attendants who guide you through your journey, each person plays a vital role in making air travel possible. And who knows? The person sitting next to you might just have a story that could change the world. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to share it with someone who needs a little inspiration today. Hit that like button if you believe in the power of ordinary people to do extraordinary things, and let us know in the comments.